This video looks at local action in the Rockford area over the last 3 months, and we start at Broadway on April 2nd, as L561 returns to the Freeport sub-main in the rain. That Thursday the 4th, I caught them at 10th Street as they returned west to Freeport after working the Rockford East Belt. On the 9th, it was back to 23rd Avenue to catch L561 a little later in the afternoon than usual. Instead of making the return back west in Rockford, this week they did it in Genoa after servicing J6 polymers and removing a couple of cars that had been sitting there for some time. Illinois Central GP38-2 9622 had been stationed in Freeport recently. After servicing International Paper, they'd go down the Rockford South Belt to J.L. Clark Plastics. With the sun on a westward train more favorable, I went to 7th Street to catch them on the nose. I was on the East Belt again on the 16th for another trip down the South Belt. On April 22nd, I was at Seminary Street, where the Illinois Railway joins the CN Freeport sub. GP20C Eco 2239 was returning north from Davis Junction to South Beloit with CPKC train K66. Today, they had a healthy cut of cars, including a number of empty gondolas. The 3rd of May welcomed a late afternoon return trip of Union Pacific YBE 51, a Belvedere to Loves Park turn, back to Belvedere. Union Pacific Yard GP 15-1 Duo 700 and 705 ran down North Madison. On the 8th, I grabbed another late afternoon of YBE 51. On the 8th, UP Yard GP 15-1 705 led as they went back to Katy Junction. On May 9th, we catch a brief shot of L561 as they take a tank to J6 Polymers in Genoa, passing the East Belt before returning west. On May 21st, a late afternoon CPKC K66 was returning north on Illinois Railway trackage at Brook Road. Listen as they stall climbing the grade. In addition to the stall, the crossing here malfunctioned and needed to be called in. They rolled back and made one more brief attempt at unsuccessfully climbing the grade before tying down for the night at Brook Road. I'd catch up with them here near the same time the following day to watch them make their ascent. The return trip necessitated them splitting their train in half before crossing the Rock River. With a new crew on board the following day, the train would shove back across Sandy Hollow Road before throttling up and climbing the grade north. K66 would tie the second half of their train down on Illinois Railway tracks before crossing the Rock River with the first half of their train. They then returned east, picked up the second half of their train. It was my understanding they serviced American Bentonite and then picked it all up and returned north to South Beloit. On the 30th, it was back to the East Belt, where Illinois Central GP38-2 9610 was taking a single boxcar to Aetna Building Solutions. On the 7th of June, I was at Seminary Street to watch K66 on its northward trip to South Beloit. Canadian Pacific GP40-3 4008 was leading the turn. This was the first time since I had moved to Rockford in 2021 that something other than a GP20C Eco had been leading when I was watching it. On the 18th of June, Canadian National L561 made another trip down the Rockford East Belt to Etna, with Illinois Central GP38-2 9610 handling the move. After running down the East Belt, they went back to their train on the main and went east to Genoa for J6 polymer work. They then returned later that afternoon to the East Belt to continue servicing IP. We conclude by catching them again at 23rd and then Kishwaukee on the 25th of June.